Steve Young, we're 2-on-1 with the NFL former MVP in Studio B. Steve, it seems like everything's going well for you. Beautiful family, successful career, on ESPN, doing your thing, except for your field goal kicking.
You saw that? I'm
Yeah,
so
what
bummed.
happened,
You don't realize. I should have done what Trent did. He opted out. You know, he's like, I'm not going to do that.
His shirt was too tight.
That was funny. But so that, at least, it wasn't that bad. But what happened is I'd hit one before. So, and by the way, Randy had like dress shoes that were flat, like the old, Tom
Square
Dempsey.
toe. Square toe.
Like the Tom Dempsey square toe.
Okay.
And so I was like, that's not fair, first of all. And then so I hit the first one. I'm like, okay, but it didn't go as far as Moss's one. So I was like, I gotta let this rip. So I go to let it rip, and I hit a divot that far ahead of the ball, and then dig in, and then almost fall down. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be, because immediately you think to yourself, oh, this is bad, right? Because you don't realize there's a few million people who saw it.
And then you get asked about it the next day.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang!
So during the pregame show, you talked in Come On Man about Johnny Linehan's play, which was funny. And I thought it was good that you did it because it was going to be
I had to do it because otherwise, because it gave me a shout out to Kalani and like how I feel about it. I was like, look, these are my boys. I know you guys want to lean in. You guys are like, but come on. Come on, man.
There's aggressive, and then there's that.
But I was like, what was super funny, right? It's 4th and 19, right? You're thinking, he's gonna run for 40 because everyone's gonna disappear, right? I'm sure that's what the thought was. And to have him just mauled, barely
2-yard line.
What he should have done is not come out. Right? Don't come out and get tackled at the 2.
Yeah. Well, amazingly,
Like, just stay in. If I'm not going to make 19,
just stay
don't
there.
come out of the end zone. Just give up 2 and move on.
amazingly, Boise State gets a penalty, gets backed up, kicks a field goal and misses it.
I know.
So there's 0 points.
It didn't hurt him at
points.
all.
That's why it was so funny. It
Oh
was
my
great.
goodness.
Steve Young is with us in Studio B as part of BYU Sports Nation. You're promoting a brand new book, QB, My Life Behind the Spiral, and you're very busy. What's your life going to be like over the next few weeks promoting this thing?
That's it. This is actually, there's one more signing at Deseret Book, and I think that's kind of it. Oh, no, there's a book signing coming up next week, end of next week
in Gilbert, Arizona.
Thanks for the tip.
You're
you guys are
welcome.
like, help Steve out. He's a little older.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. But no, the heavy work is over, and it really wasn't that bad. It was fine, and it's been fun. It's actually I've gotten where I've stepped into the shoes of an author. Like I started like, oh well, I don't know, and now I'm like, yeah, got a book. It's good.
Yeah, and I'm an author. I do it.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
And we've talked to Jeff Benedict for a couple years now and had a good relationship with him, who helps you write this. And he told us about it a few years ago.
Right.
When did you decide, okay, this is something that I'm okay with the public knowing? Because it was originally like a memoir for your family, right?
Right. So then once, I'd say a year ago, my good friend Bob Gay, who put Jeff and I together, got a copy of it. And he read it, and he goes, Steve, you got to publish it. I'm like, there's no way. I'm not doing it. I don't know. It just wasn't in my mind. And then a few months later, he saw me again. He's like, you got to publish it. And he got that look like, it's going to happen. So just let's do it. And so that got it started. And we started talking about it. And so what really happened is my wife, Barb, she realized, oh, my gosh, this is going out. So she's the kind of person that's like, it has to be perfect. It has to be your voice. And so Jeff and I had talked a lot. And I'd done a lot of the work, but it wasn't like, Steve, that doesn't sound like you. And so she went through page by page, like, that doesn't sound like you. You got to say this in your word, like exactly how you would say it. And so we spent, Jeff and I and Barb were like at the kitchen table. It seemed like a lot of hours going through it and getting it kind of revised and edited. And that's when I knew it was happening and I got more comfortable. And I realized, you know what? People would say, well, do you want to change anything? Because, what you give your kids, and I'm like, no. Like, let's either do this or don't do it. And so we didn't change a word. And I changed a lot of it that I'm going to hand to both of them, but I didn't change one from the other with my kids. But I really got started on this, like you said, my kids would come home and say, Dad, I just heard this story about you and Joe Montana. I was like, that's not right. And so I kept saying, it kept happening. And I said, I need to write it down because otherwise my kids who are not affiliated with it will never know what my story is. And that just led to all kinds of things, like what it was like to grow up and play, just all the life lessons. It started to become that kind of a book. And then by the time it got published, the great thing about it is we added this last chapter that connected the kids and my family and Barb getting married and us having kids and and retiring. And so like the kids were helping with the cover and they were helping and Barb was doing the title. And so it was like what I started was to make it for the family, and what it ended was kind of like brought us together. So that's a good thing. Good thing.
Understandably, some very personal and emotional stuff in there, and we both really enjoyed reading that. And so that said, is there a most emotional part of the book that you can pinpoint and say, wow, yeah, I can't believe that's in there?
Well, the car accident is a place that I had never really talked about ever. But certainly if I was going to tell my story to my children, I was going to tell that story, that part of it. I don't think that people, when I was growing up, I was in Salt Lake City until second grade before we moved to Connecticut. I didn't go to school in first grade. At the beginning of the season, my parents go, well, you got to go to school. I go, I'm not going. And I didn't understand why I didn't want to go, but what it was, and at 30 years later in my life, I found out it was like this separation anxiety, this genetic thing that's actually in my mom's family, sprinkled around, and how that informed my whole life because I didn't want to go to first grade. Or when my parents, I remember vividly Meadowmore Elementary School in Cottonwood, my dad picked me up after school. I can still smell, see, hear on the radio is big girls don't cry. And I'm like, yeah, big boys do, because I'm wailing because he's taking me over to my aunt's house in Sandy because they're leaving town, and I'm like distraught. I'm like, and that weekend was one of the worst weekends of my life. And so, looking back, then life goes on, but how it affected that anxiety kind of hung around for a lot of my, coming to college. I didn't unpack my bag. I was at Helaman Halls. The whole first semester, my bag never got unpacked. Every day I was like, I'm going home. And I'd make it another day. And that's how you do it. You make it another day. And by the time I went home at Christmas, I remember going home and like, I can't wait to get home. I get home and all of a sudden I was like, oh no, home's back there. Like I was set, like I'd made the transition, and now Provo was my home, But then I get signed to the USFL, and that's part of the story too. I'm like, I can't. I'm stuck. My dad has to come pack my stuff. Yeah. I'm the $40 million man. He has to pack my stuff. Says we got to go. And I'm like, I can't. Oh, I can't do it. And that's that story of George Curtis. I don't know if you read.
Yep.
Where I'm going to start crying. I do this all the time now because these things are now such a part of. I haven't told these stories very often. Where he picks me up. He's the guy that picks me up at the airport to say, and I tell him, Mr. Curtis, I just want you to know, this isn't going to work. I mean, I had this crazy idea that I was just going to cancel the contract. Like I go back to BYU and
That would have made news as well.
For the 6th year. Yeah, made the news as well. That would have been
Big
something.
news either way, yeah.
But then, so it's fun. I don't know what your original question was off. That was some of the stuff that was
that
fun.
was the answer, the emotional part of the book.
And there are a ton of these stories in this book. If you're a BYU fan, you have to have this book. I've really enjoyed reading this and getting to know you on another level, right, that you've shared publicly. What I want to know is, what story or idea were you close to putting in but didn't quite make the cut? Because I imagine there was a lot of material to sift through in your life.
I tried to everything that was important to me or that affected what my next move was, and then some funny ones, things that were, there's a lot of goofball things that, hijinks between, but I included some of those too. Just Joe Montana and I, chaining all the bikes up at training camp, when people come out from night meetings, or, just goofball stuff. But so even some of the goofy things, but I just tried to think of the things that I would want my kids to know. What do you want your kids to know about that part of your life? What is useful, informative to them? And that's kind of was my guide.
Did you learn anything new about yourself through this whole process?
Yeah, that's a great question because, first of all, we dug up a lot of stories that I'd forgotten. That was the hidden gem of this process for me, was things that I had kind of they'd happened, and I just put them on a shelf or something. I didn't remember them, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such an important story to the narrative. So that part was really important to me, and trying to me, figuring out what I would put in, what I'd take out, what was important. I don't know. It was a process that I really loved, and now having it out, having people respond to me, and in almost like friendship, like there's a writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. He called me to do an interview. He goes, I couldn't do my first job. I had anxiety. I was like, we're brothers, we're in this together. Like, it's funny. All of a sudden, by doing this, you bring yourself to a place where people can feel connected to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really enjoy that. I think that's fun.
When you look at this whole process, how emotional was it? Highs, lows, reliving a lot lot this? Right?
No, I didn't. A lot of it was blocking and tackling. I knew that I wanted my kids to have this. Like, hey, we're doing this because I'm sick of the stories, right? So so a lot of it was just get it. But I was also very interested in making sure that I got to we went deep into, talked to a lot of the teammates and a lot of association and friends and family and people that I had never gone back. Like, there was a family, Doug and Barbara Scher, who were assigned to me at freshman at BYU as my host family. And so you got to go over there and eat, dinner, and you'd get to, if you needed something, you could go. And they were a really big part of my life, but then I started playing and we moved on and they were friends, but we never really got a chance to talk through, like, what do you remember about? What was fun? What was your take on all that? And it was to have Doug like, well, this is how we saw you. And, I'm like, oh, I love hearing that. Like, I probably wouldn't have mattered back then, but today was kind of neat.
Steve Young with us in Studio B, part of BYU Sports Nation. He is on a book tour right now, QB, My Life Behind the Spiral. You can get this a bunch of different ways, but Steve, what's the best way to go and find
Desert Book is
this?
the place in Utah to grab it. Obviously on Amazon. I mean, one click away, just grab it. I'd deliver it to you if I could, but I can't quite pull that off.
Just
but,
throw it
For
a country mile.
$5,000, Steve Young will show up at your house and deliver it to you.
I can spiral it to you.
You mentioned Kalani Sitake and BYU last night on Monday Night Football. What have you seen from this team that you've liked and kind of this new coaching staff?
It's a gritty group. I mean, from the first game, you could feel the emotion. You could feel that it wasn't just emotion for emotion's sake. There was substance to it. There was a camaraderie. There's a feeling that this is gonna be okay. And so, despite the fact that there were some fits and starts, think about everything that's happened this year. I mean, there's some tough moments. Down by a touchdown in Salt Lake City, and what do? You answer. Now look, we can say, well, 2-1. We answered. We've answered it all year long. We're a gritty group. Last week in Boise State, that's a tough environment. Continually answered, found ways. It's not always the same solution every week. It's not like, oh, we have a one-trick pony, and that's what we're going with. We're collecting a lot of stuff. I think the idea that we're leaning in and we're gritty is going to attract a lot of talent. They're going to go out and recruit off of what I feel from the team and from Kalani and obviously Ty and the rest of the staff. And I just think they're going to give them a couple of years to go recruit off of this, what they're building. They're going to get some guys to come. I mean, they're going to really want to be here.
You still have plenty of time to tease Ty Detmer, though, right?
About which thing?
About
the two out of bounds stakes he calls for legs.
You should hear Jerem do his impersonation. It's actually pretty good.
We're just going to run the ball, Taysom. Just go up the middle, and we'll see what happens.
Give it a shot.
Kyle Van Noy was traded to the Patriots. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, the heavens have parted. I mean, Detroit's fine, but you can get stuck there and get a new start. And the fact that the Patriots want him, he should take that as if. I remember when the 49ers called you in 1987 or 1994, it meant more than someone else calling you, because they could take anybody. And the fact that they can see potential in you that maybe you don't see in yourself, something that you can do that others might not appreciate, for Kyle, it's a dream come true to find that place. And now, if he can make it there, you have the great platform to do some phenomenal things. And by the way, he's going to get a Super Bowl ring this year, so that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I get the playoff bonus as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask a kind of a two-tiered question here. And the first tier is, if you were coaching Taysom Hill and Tanner Mangum right now, what would you say to these guys taking over a pro-style offense underneath Ty Detmer?
Well, first of all, trust Ty. I remember I was in my 13th or 14th year. Ty was my teammate. He had joined the 49ers, and I'd come off the field, and you know, Ty, and you probably should do this for me. But he's like, Steve, you know, did you watch the safety? You know, I'm not doing it very. You're doing it better than me.
I'm like, did he chip his tooth, Steve? What happened there?
I know, that was like I'm not sure what that was. Woo, okay. Anyway,
he's got a little whistle there.
I got the whistle. Yeah. Anyway, we'll go back to my voice on that one. But they said, "Did you track the safety?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but you know, what did you know?" And so he was. Here's a kid that 5, 6, 7, 8 years younger than me, didn't play nearly as much, and he's telling me what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm like, "You're right." And so he's one of the most intuitive football players I ever met. He understood the nuances of the position in a way that very few do. So when we were talking about coaching and I was trying to make I was like, we got to have Ty's got to come, and they're like, well, he's stuck down there and he loves ranch, and get him, because I just really believed in his just innate nature and call. And I would love him to be the guy that calls my plays, and so I would tell both those guys, Tanner and Taysom, that look, just trust him first of all. If he's saying something, make sure you do it, and then also. I mean, in many ways, Ty will go as fast as you can go. Like if Ty trusts you, if you can build that trust with him, you want to throw the ball, then show him that you can be trusted. If you want to, roll out, I think Ty's the kind of guy that he's a heady dude. He's not somebody. He's three plays ahead, and so I think he needs to build that sense of trust. So you got to earn that. You got to go out there and study harder than anybody. Ty was the kind of guy that had everything memorized 3 times over. He had every nuance, every position, every blitz, every formation, and so you got to do the work. And I think I would love to be coached by Ty Detmer. I kind of was. Steve.
Now, second part of that question, Steve, is: will you ever coach at any point in your life?
It's the time commitment is incredible, and there's no way with. And the way the way my life is today, there's no way. But I love talking about the game, and I will tell anyone who wants to ask me questions. I'll tell you my opinion and
You like
help
kicking
where I can.
field goals?
See, stop. Got it. Because it really is sad. It really hurt. I could see pain. There were some people last night that were at the game who watched it live, and you could see that they were pained. It was like, oh,
Your legacy.
Their legacy is dead. But I'm willing to risk it for fun.
That's right.
For nothing.
Everything, yes, can be bought with fun, right? Steve, great stuff. Safe travels throughout to your book tour, through Deseret Book, and then into Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert, Arizona.
Mark
Thanks for the tip. Yep.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday at 5. See?
Okay.
You can't trick me twice.
You're right. Before you go, we need you. We'll say goodbye, but we need you to sign our stretch Y flag as well.
Yeah.
So
Is this the first?
This
Why is this
is-
the first time I've signed it?
well,
Last time you said, let's not
we-
have him sign it.
we
no,
rotated.
you signed the
flag.
old flag.
New
This is a new
flag.
flag.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering, maybe I was.
You're a new man now. We appreciate the time, Steve.
You guys are the best.
Thanks, Steve.